So when the Luka Doncic trade went down, I immediately thought this Los Angeles Laker basketball team was actually going to be a team that was probably going to threaten the Oklahoma City Thunder for the Western Conference Championship this year. But I got to tell you, after watching the Chicago Bulls just absolutely dismantle Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves, and the rest of the cast of characters in what can best be described as fast break basketball, it was pretty clear after watching that maybe this Los Angeles Laker team isn't quite as good as a lot of us thought they were going to be with Luka on the team. That being said, that doesn't mean I don't believe in the Los Angeles Lakers. I certainly wouldn't be surprised at all to see them show up in the Western Conference Finals this year. But I think the team to beat is clearly, without a doubt, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Look, SGA is most likely going to win the league's most valuable player of the year award this year. I think it's pretty safe to say that. And when you think about the team that was the best team at the start of the season and the team that was the best team before the All-Star break and the team that was the best team after the All-Star break, you either are taking the Cleveland Cavaliers or you're taking the OKC Thunder. And from a consistency standpoint, at this point, it is really safe to say that, Cleveland, who had a bit of a losing streak, though they're back on a winning streak now, in my opinion, OKC has been the best team in the Western Conference for the entire season. Now, they're sitting here at this point at 59-12. They've won 31 games and lost 5 at home. Away from Oklahoma City, they're 28-7 on the season. And clearly, this is a team that can win with massive, important pieces being out of the lineup. I mean, last night, J-Dub and Chet didn't play, and that didn't stop OKC from actually winning the game. So, as they sit here, winning 9 out of their last 10 games, with a 13.5 game lead over the highly competitive Western Conference, it is really safe to say that the best team at the start of the season, the best team midway through the season, the best team after the All-Star break, and the best team with 10 games to go is definitely the Oklahoma City Thunder at this point. Now, you might be asking, well, what about the Houston Rockets? And I absolutely love what they've done with this Houston Rockets team so far this year. You can't dispute that. They're 20 games over 500. They've actually won 9 out of their last 10 games as well. It is a really good team with a lot of talent and a lot of youth on the roster at this point. But I believe they're a tier or two below where OKC is at this point. I'm not going to talk about the Nuggets because the Nuggets are actually missing something very important in the NBA called a bench. And without a bench, the Joker can only joke and do so much for so long before things fall apart. Now, we talked about the Los Angeles Lakers a little bit at the beginning of this all, and I thought, well, when Luka actually starts playing, the Lakers will be the team to beat. And while I still think this Los Angeles Laker team is going to win a series or two in the upcoming playoffs, I think there is a blueprint that OKC can absolutely run, which would, if you will, eliminate the Lakers from the playoffs. In other words, there is a style of basketball that OKC can play. They certainly can play different styles of basketball, but there's a style of basketball and a blueprint that the Chicago Bulls, of all teams, actually just laid out for everybody to watch. I don't think it wouldn't surprise me at all to see the Lakers and OKC in the Western Conference Finals this year. What I think would surprise me, though, at this point, assuming everybody stays healthy, is if from a strategic standpoint, if OKC couldn't find a way to, if you will, play fast break basketball. In other words, don't allow the Los Angeles Lakers to get into their normal sets and actually push the pace of the game 4 out of 7 times in a 7-game series. So at the end of the day, I think the Lakers, as good as they are, probably don't have enough youth to actually stick with OKC in a sprint. Now, the other teams that do need to be mentioned in the Western Conference at this point are clearly Ja and his Grizzlies, and of course, Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green, and the rest of the Golden State Warriors organization, which has absolutely turned the ship around. The Warriors have won 8 out of their last 10 games, and so have the Los Angeles Clippers. Watch out. You never know what can happen with a healthy Los Angeles Clipper team. Though I don't see the Clippers actually taking down OKC in the playoffs, though I could see a wise Steve Kerr putting together a game plan to steal a couple games from OKC. In other words, the Warriors, along with the Lakers, could actually take down OKC in the playoffs this year. Now, the strategy that OKC will use to actually beat the Lakers is not the same strategy they would need to use to actually beat the Warriors. So when I look at this all, I think this Warrior team, if Steph Curry can get healthy and then they can remain healthy through the remainder of the regular season and into the first couple rounds of the playoffs, this Warrior team is certainly for real. What we basically have here at this point is just absolutely craziness in the Western Conference. Now, the Mavericks have actually had won 2 games in a row, and the Phoenix Suns, of all people, have won 3 in a row. So we're talking about, and the Suns are currently in 11th going into tonight's game in the Western Conference. So they wouldn't even make the play-in at this point. So just looking at this all, the only thing that I think is certain in the Western Conference at this point, with about 10 games to go, is that the OKC Thunder is clearly still the best team in the Western Conference. All right, love to know your thoughts and opinions. Go ahead and drop them in when you have a chance for the NBA Rundown. I'm Dave DeBaugh, wishing you all a tremendous rest of your sports viewing day.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show